Hey guys, happy Friday. It's the evening of August 1st. I just made my wife a delicious stir fry vegetable dinner, and I'm having an after dinner glass of Riesling. I have a sweet tooth, so I like my Riesling wines. This wine is actually a Riesling from the Brotherhood Winery in Washingtonville, which is local to us. And it's actually America's oldest winery. Most of their wine is well, it's local, but the Riesling's actually pretty decent. So if you like cheap Riesling, I'd recommend the Brotherhood one. So I spent the day cleaning off my workbench. It was so accumulated with projects, and it's just time to get it clean. My garage is packed pretty tight. I park my vehicle in here. I have a tractor in here, and all my tools for home ownership, and a lot of my toy collection. So I often have to make space, and I have to get creative just to store projects that I will get back to at a later date. But we joke around. Everybody jokes around about being a hoarder and stuff, and I just have so many projects. I really got to thin the herd out. I got to cull the herd of projects. All these containers are various projects, and I've been far too accumulative in the projects. But as I've been clearing space, I went through a couple bins and I found my original Kenner Star Wars action figure cases. These are all cases of toys from my childhood. So I thought it'd be fun just to pull them out and go through everything. Now, when I collected Star Wars figures, a slight disclaimer here. In 1977, I was 9 years old. I was the target audience, the prototype kid for Star Wars. And I collected figures on through The Empire Strikes Back. By the time Return of the Jedi came out, I was more into Army stuff and I kind of lost interest in Star Wars. But I went back later on as an adult and I got all the original figures that I'd missed. So I stuffed many of them into these cases, and some of the larger ones I have stored inside the house in a sort of plastic tote. Things like Han Solo in carbonite and a man and stuff. But I don't know. I thought it'd be fun. Let's go through them real quick and see what we got. They're a little actually kind of dingy looking from storage, but anyhow, you know what? Let's start with this one because I actually remember this. This is brown paint, and I did this as a kid. I had dirty hands when I was painting Han Solo. I wasn't happy with my original vintage Han Solo figure, so I had to repaint his hair as a kid, and I got the brown acrylic stains on the handle. I kind of left them ever since. So let's see if Han Solo is actually in this case or he's in the other one. But here we go. I haven't looked in these cases in, I don't know, easily a decade, maybe longer. So, and here we go. So there's a lot of Return of the Jedis in here, which I did not have as a kid. So I grabbed them as an adult. But the Empire Strikes Back ones are definitely ones I had as a kid, and certainly the Star Wars ones. Now, I loved the original 12, but when the next few came out, here's my original vintage Hammerhead. He's a little loose in the neck, but I really coveted my figures and I took care of them. So things aren't all that abused in my collection, and they never were. But when the next seven or so, I don't remember. I'm sorry. I lived through it, so I don't need to remember the exact details. But when the next wave of guys came out, I like just fell in love with them. They had additional colors and things that were beyond the original palette of colors in the first 12. Because let's face it, the first 12 figures were kind of mundane in colors. There's a lot of black, white, and brown tones. So the next wave introduced some colors. Is this my original R2? Yes, it is. So here is the R2 I played with as a kid. He is still in great shape. And, I wasn't that kind of kid who would like dunk them in water or leave them outside or things like that. I took care of my figures. So here's my original R2, my original FX7. By this time in my collection, I was let's see, Empire came out in 80, so I would have been around 12 years old, and just wasn't playing with them as much. But I grabbed the ones that appealed to me. And then, like I said, I certainly have packed out the collection to complete it in my adulthood. But this Biker Scout, yeah, I didn't have him as a kid. I don't know. I don't even know where this came from. It's very yellowed. I'll have to try and do that retro brighting technique on him. Here's my original Obi-Wan Kenobi. Now, a funny story. As a kid, I used to write to Kenner, and I would say things like I'd lost a certain part, or I bought a certain play set, and the thing was missing a part and stuff like that. And I would get Kenner to send me parts. And at one time, they sent me like a whole bunch of lightsabers and things, different colors. It was like, oh no, that kid is writing again. Let's get him off our back and just send him a bunch of crap. And they sent me like dozens of weapons and things like that. And I still have them all. I have a whole bunch of original lightsabers and Leia blasters and things like that they sent to me. So honestly, opening this case up, I'm kind of underwhelmed because these are Jedi figures, and like I said, I would have been too old as a child to have gotten them. So I got most of these as an adult. So this is going to be the case with all of my fondest childhood memories. So let's see if there's any stories to be told here. So, here we go. So, definitely had all these guys as a kid. Now, to back, all right, here we go. Let's start with this. As a kid, I was even customizing back then. So, I remember I painted Han Solo's belt white because I thought he should have a white belt because of the Stormtrooper belt. But I have the vintage small head Han Solo, which I actually think looks better than that giant headed abomination they put out later. Yeah, this is definitely my like 1978 purchase Han Solo, or maybe even as a kid I might have stole him. I was a rotten kid. I definitely stole at least one or two figures from the store, but don't tell anybody that. I want to uphold my moral standing in the action figure community. But yeah, Han Solo's hair wore out a little bit, and I wound up painting him with brown acrylic paint. And like I said, I got the stain on the collector's case. Now, as a kid, I only had one collector's case. I bought a second one as an adult. But let's see, some other story. Okay, here's another story. Like I said, I wrote to Kenner, and I would get like free capes and stuff like that. They would want to get me out of their hair, and so I got an extra Ben Kenobi cape, and I wanted Greedo to have a vest, so I cut it down. And as a kid, I did a terrible cut, so I had to sort of be creative. But that was my solution to give Greedo the tan vest. It was I cut a Ben Kenobi cape that Kenner gave me. But oh god, good memories here, man. This is a lot of fun. I loved the Power Droid. He was so unique, and I still call him Power Droid. I don't call him a Gonk Droid. I'm sorry, folks. When you're old school, it's a hard thing to break. But Power Droid it is for me. And let's see. I remember mailing away for Bosk. I remember seeing the ads on TV, and I could not make out what the heck the name of this guy was. Was it Boss? Was it Tosk? I didn't know. I couldn't tell what the guy was saying. And then when it arrived, I finally learned it was Bosk, and it was a bounty hunter. And his weapons in there too. And just like, for me, this was such a a game changer in the figure line. Now we had like taller figures with, at the time I would consider this more elaborate detail and just such unique things going on. Like he can rival Chewbacca in stature. I think I only had one Vader in my life. Here's my Vader. This is still the original Vader, and all their capes and things are intact. My Jawa, I have one or two Jawas that I still have the cloth cloaks for, and Princess Leia back there. She's getting yellow too, even though she's been packed away. That's the shame with all this stuff. Oh, the Death Star guy. Yeah, man, like they really missed the mark on that helmet. He's got such a dorky helmet, but I wish they'd done it a little bit better. And the other thing is like, the dudes aren't even wearing gray uniforms in the movie. Come on, Kenner. What does it take? Even as a kid, I could have done better. And I'm pretty sure I only had the white guy, Bespin Guard. My neighbor had the black guy. And who knows, I might have swiped this from him for all I know. I can't remember. And let's see what treasures are on the lower shelf here. Yes, more Empire figures. Let me see if here he is. Okay, another customization I did as a kid. I did white bands and I painted Han Solo's boots there. So as a 12-year-old, there's my action figure customizing. And sure enough, his blaster is stored like many of us kids did back in the day. Let's see, did I do any other detail? I probably did paint his try and do some paint apps there on his hood and stuff like that. But maybe it's time I strip that paint off. I don't know. As long as I keep these, I think it's okay to keep the memories of those. I don't think I had a Yoda as a kid, so this would have been an adult purchase. There was a store in Jersey called the Starlog store, and it was named after the Starlog magazine, and I probably kept them in business for a long time. My buddy Nick, if he's watching, you remember Nick? We used to go down there often, and I would just keep buying action figures from them to pack out my missing guys from the collection. But most of them though here are my childhood originals. The original Lobot, everybody's favorite figure. He's just has so much potential. A dude in like a Seinfeld poofy shirt. And then both Snaggle Tooths. I only had the little guy. The big guy I got as an adult again. My Luke Skywalker X-Wing pilot, I had several of him. And as a kid, like I can never figure out, are those supposed to be the goggles up in his helmet, or is this Wedge with black hair? I really didn't know what they were going for back then, but it didn't stop me from buying multiples. And I also have, I don't think they're in here. I have that Kenner accessory pack. I did the same thing with this Rebel Trooper. I did white bands around his boots there. I guess I had a thing for like disco moon boots or something back in the day. But I have the accessory pack somewhere in the house with the survival backpack and stuff like that. And I still have the original mailer box with my childhood address still on the box. Rebel Commander, I definitely had him as a kid. And then once again, here's R2-D2 with the sensor scope. This is definitely an adult purchase. I probably was in my early 20s. Let's see, my first marriage. I get married at 25. So I was buying heavy prior to my first marriage. So I was about 21 or over, between 21 and 23 or 24. I was buying up all the guys I did not have in my collection. This is my original mail away Boba Fett. And I was well ahead of the game. If memory serves, you had to cut out something like 9 proof of purchases on the backs of action figures, and I used to keep the cards. So I had all the cards from my original purchases, never knowing that these offers would pop up. So I just cut the old proof of purchases. I actually even used some vehicle box purchases that I had, like the Millennium Falcon. And I remember writing on the order form for Kenner that I said, I'm including the Millennium Falcon proof of purchase because I think its value should count for at least one figure. And sure enough, they sent me this Boba Fett. I would have appreciated it if they sent me the prototype firing Boba Fett, but alas, I am one of gazillions of kids who just got the regular glued-in Boba Fett. However, I do remember the stickers on the cards that were covering up the firing backpack feature. And as kids, we'd pull those stickers off to see what was going on. And I also remember the prototype photo Boba Fett was very different looking than what you actually got. I actually like this better, but the prototype was a lot more rounded. I saved like one vintage Stormtrooper. I used to have about 7 or 8 of them, maybe as a kid, and I'd pack out my Death Star with them. I kind of wish I kept everything. I went through, like it was as a young man, I was getting married, so I wound up, selling things off and to try to make money, for our marriage, and ultimately, as happens when you get married young, it didn't work out. But alas, at least I sold off bits of the collection and was able to make a go of it for a number of years. Now, here's my original vintage R5D4, and he does show some wear on his stickers and stuff like that. But he still works, with the clicking noise. I even have somewhere in the house the R2D2 with the third leg from the Droid Factory, and some Droid Factory parts. I remember selling a bunch of stuff off, and a lot of it was the Droid Factory, but I kept that R2D2 with the third leg. And then under here, like in the collector's case, they used to have a photo of like all the figures in the case, and if memory serves, they might have even had stickers that you can put in there. I didn't do that, but I used to have the photos. I don't think I do anymore, but there might be. No, there's nothing under there. It would have been fun if I had some paperwork under there. Here we go. Here's some paperwork. So, wow, I didn't realize I had these. These are the old books that you would get with any purchase, particularly the ships and play sets. Let's see. Oh, look, I've been Xing them off, who I had and who I wanted. So let's see. You can barely see magic marker X's. And I think my organizational system was to do a small X by who I was looking for at the time, and a bit, I don't know. But anyhow, I marked this up. So there goes the value of that piece. And then I got a couple more. I got an older one. There's the Yoda one. And here's the Droid Factory blueprints. That's pretty cool. I love the Droid Factory. I would actually consider getting that again. It's just I got so much crap. Here's the original insert that came with the Bosk action figure. Once I opened it up and got this, I realized that's what the dude on the commercial is saying. Here's the paperwork from the survival pack, which I still have all those parts inside the house. And looks like this actually looks like more my adult handwriting. So I was obviously, this is pre-internet, pre-computer when I was doing all this crap. So let's see, what do we got here? Boy, I don't know. Maybe I still got a few guys I got to add to the collection. Oh, here it is. So here's the insert I was talking about. I am impressed that I still have this. But there you go. There's the original 12 right there. So look at that color line. It's very muted. Granted, this was a game changer for kids back in 78 when these things hit. And, we couldn't gobble them up fast enough. But by the time the next wave came about with some colors, it was really something special. And there you go. There's the next wave there. Walrus Man with his orange leotard going on, and like to this day, I can't figure out what the hell is his mouth there. Is it tusks? Is it membranes? Is it something else that we shouldn't mention here? And look at that prototype That's the prototype Boba Fett I was just talking about. That rounded look. I forgot that he's in this photo. Well, that's fun. That was a little fun trip down memory lane. I guess I'm gonna have to upgrade how I'm storing these two things. Eventually, I'm the kind of guy I have an unfinished basement. I don't have a place to really display my stuff. I gotta finish the basement. It's a big job. I still gotta do the drop ceiling and all that. Once I do that and I can get some display cases in there, I would be thrilled to be able to bring these characters out and display them. Oh, I forgot to put my list back in, so I'll put that in there as well, and that'll help protect the original things. I remember when Return of the Jedi came out, and the names of the characters to me and my buddy Nick were really disappointing, like yak face and squid head and stuff like that. And then it didn't become a thing to name them until a little bit later on. I think that Star Wars card game was really the point at which a lot of names started to develop for the characters. That Star Wars customizable card game, if you guys remember that. Once again, pre-internet days when getting photos of like these background characters and things like that was very difficult to do. And the Star Wars customizable card game really had a wealth of photos of obscure characters and all sorts of ships and land speeders in the background, stuff like that. It was great, but the photos were so small. So anyhow, I'm going to close these up properly once we're offline here and get them secured again. Look at that artwork, man. I got to say, like, Star Wars for me, I'm sorry, I'm going to ramble on a little bit here, but Star Wars for me, I was a kid. I was the youngest in my family. My sisters and brother were significantly older than me, and I was, alone a lot. I lived in a rural area. My best friend lived miles away, but I could bike there. But it was quite a ride, and Star Wars was like always there for me. It was very important to me. In fact, to this day, I jokingly reference events in my life as pre-Star Wars and post-Star Wars. Now, I look at this artwork and I still get the same feeling of, I don't know, it's a good feeling. It's a nostalgia feeling. Like, I love the style of this illustrator. And this very much reminds me of the same style of artwork on the Burger King glasses. And yeah, I don't know, it might be the same artist, but man, oh man, Star Wars was such a great thing. It brought symphonic music to the mainstream. Again, it elevated science fiction. Again, prior to Star Wars, we had crap like, I mean, you like it or not, Logan's Run. It's just cheesy looking compared to Star Wars. Star Wars was really great. And it was a lot of fun. So thanks for hearing me out on my walk down nostalgia road. and I'm going to come up with an alternative way to store these a little more safely than the bin I had them in. I had them with all the giant mecha that I did a few videos back on. So that bin was getting a little crowded. But man, oh man, I got to purge some crap out. But I don't think I'll ever get rid of my original Star Wars toys. So anyway, happy Friday. The weekend's starting. And hopefully all of you get to enjoy the weekend. And in New York, the temperature is finally cooling off after our horrendous heat wave we had earlier in the week. And hopefully I'll pump out another video or two. Oh, once again, I want to remind everybody, I'm going to be on Paul Knapp's YouTube show. And that will be Tuesday, August 5th, starting at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And we're going to, this particular show is all about 1/32 scale stuff. But as is evident by my YouTube videos, I am capable of rambling on about anything. So I'm going to try and sneak in some 118 talk and try and convert Paul into embracing the 118 scale addiction. Okay, folks, have a great weekend. Take care. Bye.